Real stories with bold creatives. CAPTN OffScript podcast.
It's actually mind-blowing to me, guys, that after all this time as a freelancer, we are able to talk to anyone in the world, like just by sitting at our desk. And last week, I talked to 4 amazing creatives from 3 different continents. And today, I'm joined by an amazing, amazing creative from one of the most beautiful countries in the world. I haven't been there personally, but anyone who saw The Lord of the Rings knows how amazingly beautiful New Zealand is. So she's Lady in Pink, although not today. She has her own pink pony, and she's a creative cowgirl. Kristy Campbell, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Ellen. Thank you for having me on. I'm excited to be here and chat with you.
It's totally my pleasure. You had to get pretty early, right? I mean, it's 9 a.m.
It is. It's 9:30 a.m., but I was awake from 4:30 a.m. So this is almost feeling like halfway during my day.
It's the new mom thing and everything. So I guess
early starts, that's for sure. And to be honest, I try and fit in a bit of work before the baby actually gets up for the day. So I've got to just manage everything where I can these days.
Yeah. How do you manage it? I mean, let's start from that. How does it feel, to have a small child, a full business, like a global business, and how do you do it?
Oh, I couldn't do it without my team, that's for sure. So like having the team, I'm able to still be able to work with clients all over the world and work with those clients successfully. Because if it wasn't for my team, I would have to stop the business for sure, just for a while until I was able to jump back in full time. But I've actually been managing lately, he's sleeping better. And so I'm getting more rest, which means I'm a bit more switched on. I was able to finish one of my first branding projects that I've done in a while from these 4:30 a.m. starts, just doing it when I could, doing it when he naps, but I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. It's nice to work and do something I'm passionate about still and amongst this like new era of my life. So it's very cool.
Oh, that's super cool. How old is Boston?
He's 7 months now, so he's still pretty little, still pretty small.
Yeah, I know. I remember my sister-in-law got a kid 8 years ago. He's 8 now. And we saw him, me and my husband, after a month. And oh my God, I was so surprised because I never saw a baby so small in my life. It's so crazy that a living being is so small. It was so scary for me to hold him, to do anything. So
it's terrifying at first. You're like, they're so precious, but they're actually a lot more sort of mobile than you think.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Just wait, they are after in a couple of months, he will start crawling around and walking. It will be.
I'm excited. It will. Yeah. Everyone says just wait because it gets a bit crazy when they start to crawl. So we'll see what happens with my work when he starts to crawl.
Well, let's see how that works. In a year or
Exactly.
No, it's definitely a precious thing. You also have, I read it, a very supporting husband, a very supporting mom.
Yes.
So I guess that helps as well.
So much. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I wouldn't be able to do it without them. That's for sure. They enable me to be able to fit in the work when I can. So I think that's how I'm able to do it, is the network and the community that I've got around me. That's all, even my team is part of that network and community, and my parents and everything, which is amazing. I would not be able to do it without them.
Well, I can only imagine. Before I started doing typography and type design, I had my own design agency, and I was so micromanaging everything. And going for a vacation, for me, it was more a nightmare than a vacation. So how did you do it?
That's one thing I had to learn.
Let it go?
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to let go if you're going to have a business, and it's really hard to do, especially I didn't really let things go as much as I do now, especially in the early days of my first employees, and you probably found the same. It was really hard, and as a creative, with design, there's so many ways you can take something, so you've got to open your mind up, and instead of looking at something, that they've maybe created and think, oh, that's wrong because that's not the way I would have done it, it's still a possible solution. They might have actually, the client
That's
might like
true.
their work better. It's all about like opening yourself up, and I call it letting go of your ego to grow, because at the end of the day, I hear a lot of designers say, "Oh, I could never hire anyone because I'm a perfectionist." But that's actually your ego thinking that no one else could do the job better than you.
That's
As a
so
team,
true.
we're all stronger as a collaborative environment. We all very much have our own skills and like where we excel in. And I tailor the work that we do to fit the designers. A client might come to us and be a really editorial style, so I send it to a certain designer in the team. But all of the we all have our own strengths. So just opening yourself up to that and letting go of the ego, I think, is a really good way to do it. You still want to keep the quality. You don't want to let
Yeah,
that go.
absolutely.
Yeah, those just probably fall to the ground. That's definitely one of the best things I did. And like, it's too stressful if you're trying to look over every little thing, micromanage people. It just gets you down, and that's what becomes so stressful. And I've noticed, especially with going on like maternity leave early this year, you've got to give the opportunity to people to actually level up and show them what they can do, because a lot of the time they don't even get that opportunity. And I remember never getting that kind of opportunity as an employee, and it's frustrating. You're like, I want to show them what I could do, but I just never get the chance to. And my team have just like been incredible. They've all done things that I never would have asked them to do, but they've just gone ahead and done it and stepped up to the sort of game, I guess, which is awesome.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So it's a team of 7 plus you, right?
Yes, yeah. So we've got, God, how many full-time people? They're 6 full-timers and 1 contractor who just
Okay.
works with us, doing a bit of social media posting on our agency page to help out, really.
Okay. And how do you actually manage? Like I've read, I went through your Instagram, obviously, like
Perfect.
from top to bottom.
Love that.
So yeah. And there was one comment by James Bernard. Like it said, "Oh my God, how many of these have you prepared for the maternity leave? Like you are publishing all the time. How do
Oh
you
my God,
manage
funny.
that?"
Yeah, well, that's through the I love James, he's great. That's through the social media like contractor we've got, definitely has enabled us to like roll out all of our client work on our agency page. And that was kind of hard for me to do, because I've been so precious about our social media and like even my personal brand page, which I don't know if I ever hand over to someone else, but like this agency page has really helped like keep us ticking along and keeping us moving. But honestly, the way that I've done it, letting go of your ego, but also what I realized is I'm quite good at setting up systems in the business and setting up like full systems to enable me not to have to like basically tell anyone what to do. They almost just jump on board. I give them a small guidance, and then everything is able to work like, sort of, what's the word? Without, it's all got a system, like even our project management system, our social media content calendar, like it's very detailed, and I'm very proud of that. And I've built it out in the last few years, which has enabled me to now step away quite easily. And the team can all work, and all the client work just works so well because of these systems that I've built. So that's a big one, especially like as a designer. You don't really go out there and learn systems. It's all something I've learned
So
ad
true.
hoc, as I've gone along. I didn't even know what a system was before having a business, so it's all a learning.
Yeah, and you graduated some 12 years ago, as far as I could find the information online, 2013. You
Yeah,
started
that's the one.
working as a graphic designer in corporates. How was
Mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm.
part for you? Did you learn something that actually helped you to start your own business later, or it was more like just do the simplest work, or how did it work?
I never worked in an agency, which like I don't have agency experience. I didn't before I started
Okay.
my business. So when I started my business, like I was literally doing everything from an agency perspective, but I had no experience. I was just literally winging it. I was like, I think this is working. This is right. But when I was working for other people, I worked for 3 different companies across the span of like 7 years. And it was all, quite corporate businesses, or it was one brand businesses. And it was definitely design work, that I enjoyed some of it. But like compared to what I do now, I'm like, oh my God, I was that was so boring. Like, I can't believe I put up with that for 7 years. And like, it all taught me things along the way. But actually, I think what it taught me was so much more than the design work itself. It was like how to actually work successfully with other people, how to do work that you don't enjoy, like that kind of thing, how to deal with people who are quite difficult, I guess, which then prepared me for client work down the track. But the
That's
work
amazing. That's
itself,
one amazing thing. Yeah.
yeah, the work itself really wasn't very inspiring. Like, I think back to my portfolio before Pink Pony, and I was like, oh, like, no wonder it was quite hard for me to get a job, because I didn't really have anything that was like full of my own creative voices. I didn't know what my creative style was. I didn't, like I'd see people online who had a certain design style, and I was like jealous of them, because I was like, they know who they
Yeah.
are, and I did not. But it all came to life with Pink Pony and this 100-day design challenge that I did. I started developing
Yes.
all of
Yes.
that.
I wanted to go to that part now. So please continue. Yeah.
Oh yes, the 100-day design challenge. I feel like I've said this, like the 100-day design challenge. I'm like, is this boring for people? But I don't know if it is
No,
or not.
definitely not. Definitely
Okay,
not. I
good.
mean, I see so many people online like doing these briefs and things to actually expand their portfolio. So that's an amazing thing and a challenge. So it's
Yes.
always a good thing.
It is. And it's like, what it actually was for me was developing new skills and new techniques and just trialing different things. I'd never really explored like other design styles apart from this sort of clean and corporate look that I was doing for so many years. So like, creating like logos for a cafe that I went to locally just for fun, or like a surf school, or it was like creating these kind of collages of my personal life, like that kind of thing. I just never really done any of that before. So it was all new and exciting, and I learned new techniques. I literally would YouTube cool Adobe Illustrator tutorial, and then I would just follow that and then create a new piece of work and repost it. But it seems simple, but I'm learning all these things along the way from free tutorials online. And my skills in that time really escalated. Like, it was amazing. And then I got my first lead through Instagram, not thinking I would ever, that wasn't the purpose of going into it. I just made this page. I think in the back of my mind, I thought maybe it could turn into something, which is why I gave it an interesting name. And I didn't just call it like Kristy's portfolio of 100
Yeah.
days, which would have been rather boring. So I gave it this like inspiring name, got the first lead. I think the first lead probably came in around day 80. And someone just said, I like all your work. I love seeing what you're doing. Could you create me a logo? I'll pay you $50 or something for it, And I was like, oh, okay. And
Why not?
then
Yeah.
why not? And then it all just sort of went from there. And luckily at the time, the like company I was working for, it was right on the border of like where COVID started. And so everything was shutting down in New Zealand. And I said to the company I was working for, how would you guys feel? Which was very bold of me thinking about it, that I did this. I said,
Absolutely. I was like thinking about it, like she started the company in 2020 and like, oh my God, why?
yeah.
Like
And
it's
like, I,
such a bad moment in whole human history to start a company, and yet you
it's like,
made it so far.
yeah, like what was I thinking? And even like I went to my employer and I said, hey, look, I love working here, but how would you guys feel if I was to work on this little business that I want to start 1 day a week and then do 4 days with you guys? And because of where we were in the world with COVID, obviously everyone was like kind of shitting themselves, like, oh, we're going to make money. So for them, they saw it as an opportunity because they were going to have to pay me less in a way. And I had already done a lot of the work that I really needed to do there. So they were awesome. They gave me the room to start my business, which I know is so unheard of. Like, not many people would have said yes to that.
Yeah.
And then I slowly but surely, 1 day turned into 2 days at Pink Pony, and then it turned into 3 days. And it was the best and the easiest way I could have launched myself into having a business, because I didn't have to just all of a sudden stop all work and next week go into full-time Pink Pony and have basically like no clients. I was able to do it really slowly and progressively. And so God, like, they're amazing for that. I couldn't thank them enough, because I know how rare that is. And they were just awesome to let me have that opportunity.
Oh, that's like the best transition anyone could ever had, like from corporate business to their own business, and especially at that time, because I remember I moved to Madrid in 2018, and then 2020 came. I was just starting with the Thai. Before that, I was doing also logo and branding and everything. And I was just in the Thai business at the beginning, and I was thinking like, oh my God, everything is shutting down. Graphic designers will not have any jobs to do. Everything,
Yes.
like, especially in Spain, we had a lockdown, complete shutdown of everything for 2 complete months. You couldn't
Wow.
go out on the streets just to go to the grocery store or to the hospital, and that's it. And it was really, really scary, So I can only imagine how it was for you starting with that. But yeah, here
Yeah,
we
it's
are.
fun. Oh,
I
I
mean,
know.
you made so many things in these 5 years. So that's a
Yeah.
huge thing.
Yeah, like, oh God, like, even like talking about COVID, like all of this stuff. I mean, this is a whole other conversation. We could talk about COVID for like hours, but like, I can't believe we all went through that. Like, I'm like, that was crazy. First of all, it was the same here in New Zealand. We weren't allowed out. It was about 2 months, I think, that it was
Yeah.
so strict. You could only stay in your bubble. And like, I think where the opportunity actually like opened up for people like me was, I remember TikTok was blowing up at the time because everyone was just on their phones at home. And I saw people showing like tutorials of like how to bake a cake and how to, I don't know, it could have been, it was just such like
Anything.
crafty
Yeah.
things. And I enjoyed watching them, even though I'm not a baker. So I was like, well, maybe I could do this for my own stuff. So I just started sharing like Adobe Illustrator tutorials, just filming my screen. And I think back then, like not many people were doing that. Like it wasn't. And so
Yeah, back
looking back,
then,
I'm like,
not that many people. That's true.
yeah, it was very like that was a new form of like sharing content. And I just got there on TikTok at the right time, and that started to blow up a bit. So, and then people were losing their jobs. So they were like, oh, let's start a business and all these little things. So we need a logo. And I think it was like the perfect time, although it was hard in other regards where people lost their jobs. It opened up all the other opportunities because people were like scrambling for things to do. What a
That's
crazy
so
time. I want to go back actually. I was lucky enough to have a very good, fun lockdown. I was with like, in a flat living with 6 people, me and my husband. We
Oh, wow.
partied a lot, just the 6 of us, but we were working and like, it was just so fun. It was I was very blessed because I know it wasn't the same for a lot of people.
Oh, that's so true. I mean, I was with my husband the whole time, and it was really good. And we were at that moment like almost, I would say, 13, 14 years together, and it was really
Wow.
good experience. But there was so many people who were alone at home,
I
and
know.
I could not be able to like go through that and all the hard stuff. And it's just, yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. Oh,
I-
COVID. What a time.
yeah, I
It'll go
mean,
down in history.
it feels like it was such a long time ago, but then when you think about it, it was like 5 years ago. It started, and it's crazy. But you started, and that's even more amazing to me. You started the business in 2020, right? Well,
Yeah,
full
right
flash.
before COVID. Yeah,
Yeah,
right
right
before it.
before it hit. And like in 2 years, they called you to speak at Adobe conference at Adobe MAX.
Yes.
And that's huge I
Oh,
mean, seriously, for a graphic designer who started out their own company in just 2 years, that's such a big step.
oh my
How
gosh.
did you
Like
do it?
when I think about it again, I'm like, oh, honestly, it'll make me like get emotional because I feel like I'm still hormonal from my pregnancy too. Actually, I was emotional before my pregnancy. So
Okay.
like it is literally like crazy to me that they reached out. Like people ask me all the time, how did you get to speak at Adobe Max? And I'm kind of like, well, my first thought's like, I don't know. I really don't know. But then if I think deeper, I kind of do have an understanding of why. Like, so I obviously started sharing all my work on social media. I was putting a lot out there. And then it would have been maybe a year into my like business journey. I didn't have that many followers, like maybe 2,000. It was a lot at the time. And Adobe reached out to me and they said, we would love, because of COVID, actually, they were doing this, like they called it the Adobe Create Forward campaign, where they paid creators and designers like me who didn't really have a platform. I think that was part of it. They would pay us quite a good amount of money, to be honest, to recreate a piece of art that was inspired by another artist. So
Okay.
I chose an artist called Ellen Patoris. I'm going to say her name a little bit wrong, but she was like very vibrant, like energy illustration style. It was amazing,
Okay.
like really unique color palettes. And I designed a piece of art that was inspired by her. And then it was just to share that piece of art. And that's all it was. And Adobe paid me, quite a good amount of money. And I think I did a really good job. I just met all the requirements they wanted. I was very timely with my responses. And they obviously saw that as quite a good thing. Like they were like, well, obviously she's on our radar now. And then I think I did an Adobe Live after that. And I might have done like one other collab with Adobe. So I started to build this relationship. And I was just always putting my best foot forward, doing the work, like before the due dates, everything was probably like all they could have wanted maybe. And so I think there was that. I also think I didn't realize that maybe I have the personality to be a speaker on stage. Not that I'd ever done any public speaking in my life. I was always the girl at school who would stand on, the stage doing my speech and just go bright red, panic. I was terrible. So this was so out of my comfort zone. But I think over time I've built this, I've become more confident in who I am and things like that. So they liked that. So that was another thing. And I also think me being from New Zealand really sold it to them, because I think I said to Adobe when they asked me what made you reach out to me, and one of the things was they wanted international speakers from all over the world. So me where I was with my audience and design at the time, I was probably maybe one of the only designers in New Zealand that was kind of putting their things out there to the world. So they're like, oh, her, she's great. So I think it was good timing. It was those bunch of things. But it was funny when I got the email. I remember it so clearly. It was honestly the best day of my career, and it probably will be for the rest of my life. I just got this most casual email from, it said Adobe MAX speaker ? And it just said hi Kristy, we've got this thing in LA. We'd love for you to come to LA and be a speaker. And I was like, I couldn't believe it. And I was like to my husband, is this real? Do you think this is real? And I still didn't believe it until literally I was in LA at the event. I was like, okay, this is happening.
This is it.
Yeah.
And
it makes me so
now-
excited.
Yeah. And now 4th year in a row in November, right? October, November.
Yes. In a month,
Yeah.
pretty much, in the next 2 days. 4th time, again, crazy. The first year went and gone, and I was like, well, that's probably the only time I'm ever going to go. I doubt they're going to invite me back, because I didn't think I was that good. I thought I did an okay job. You get reviewed on your sessions as well afterwards, and people literally rate your performance and give you comments and feedback, which was scary at first. And of course, there's some negative ones in there. And, I read them and I was like, but then, they invited me back the next, and then this year was kind of different, because when they emailed me, they were like, look, we know you've just had a baby, but would you be keen? And initially when I had my baby, I was like, if Adobe asks me again, I'm going to say no, because it's the right thing to do. Be a family woman, stay at home. And then they asked me, and my FOMO got the better of me because I love going. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go, but let's take the baby. Let's take my husband. Let's take everyone. So we're all going.
Sure. Oh, that's an amazing first trip. Yeah.
Mm.
So will it be the first trip for Boston outside of New Zealand?
He's had a national flight in New Zealand, but that was only
Okay.
about an hour long. This one's a good 12 and a half hours. So
Oh my.
I just have to handle my expectations of what I will be like over there. I could be running on no sleep. So it'll be very much adrenaline when I go on stage, but that's cool. We'll figure it out when we're there.
Yeah, that's the spirit. No, I love that. I love that you're taking them all, and that's such a cool thing. But I heard it's 18 plus for the people so he will not be in the audience.
No, he will not be going. And it was funny. And I kind of assumed that. I was like, you just don't see kids in the center, in the conference center. And then my contact said to me, look, I know you're bringing Boston, but we just want to confirm you do know that he can't go in. And I was like, yes, no, I do know. Yeah, which is why I'm bringing an entourage to help do it also. Okay. It'll be different this year, but I'm excited.
That's wonderful. No, I'm not going, but I will be joining online for sure.
Amazing.
That's for sure. I mean, there's so many people I've interviewed. Like I've talked to James Bernards last
Yes.
week. Yeah, we are doing also well, it was for that roundtable session we talked about,
Yes.
but it will be
Something you
another
could do.
opportunity. No worries. I
Yes.
have you now here, so I have your
That's
email. We're
great.
in touch. Yeah. But I wanted to go back to, you mentioned a girl in a high school and
Oh,
like in
yes.
school who was in love with ponies.
Oh,
I
yeah.
loved I loved the post you actually posted recently, and you were not like one of the popular girls in the school.
No.
Me neither. I was not, well, not a popular girl, obviously. Not popular at all at school. But so tell me about it. Tell me about that little girl in
Mm.
school.
Oh, yeah. So, like, I mean, yeah, that post was a good one because I shared like a photo of me. I was a
Yes,
passionate horse
yes,
rider
absolutely.
for like 10 years of my life. I loved horse riding, and when I got into horse riding, I would have been maybe like 10. And so obviously you're in a very creative stage of your life and you've got no cares in the world. And I mean, maybe I wasn't 10, I might have been a bit younger, but because I was so obsessed, I literally ran around like a horse and I thought I was a pony. I'd like gallop around and neigh and as you do. And at the time, like people very much thought I was very weird, but that's cool. But now what I did was, many years down the track, I took what was once weird about me and that people laughed at me for and turned it into this like 7-figure company. So I'm like, look at me now. I
Yeah, look
definitely
at
wouldn't
me
be
now.
galloping around like a horse anymore, but I've taken that love and turned it into something else.
And the
But yeah,
spirit, yeah.
I was the same. I was never the popular girl, and I very much was like quite shy at school. Yeah, like would not want to go on stage to do my 3-minute speech, but here I am, basically a professional speaker, and I'm like, that's just crazy to me.
Absolutely, absolutely crazy. But what would you, from this perspective, tell to that young girl now?
Oh, what would I say? Oh, I don't know. I think, like, thinking about it, my, I was quite insecure about the fact that I, like, was so obsessed with ponies or, like, my weirdness. I was, like, insecure about it. I didn't really want people to see that. I'd have stickers of, okay, this is a very niche audience, so I'm going to hit if it hits anyone. There was a show called The Saddle Club, and it was an Australian show. It was about horses, about these girls who loved horses, but I was obsessed with it, like beyond obsessed. And I had Saddle Club stickers everywhere, but people would be like weirded out by that and was like, oh, like she's a bit obsessed with ponies in the Saddle Club show. But I
Right.
think it would be, like to not back away from the weird factor in you. Obviously you can be too weird and it could blow up in your face, but take something that you love, and if you truly are like passionate about it, then turn it into your strength. I think would be a big one.
Oh, that's a really good one. Yeah. Especially like in the situation you are right now. I've read that, well, the company is now 5.5 years, right?
Yes, yeah, 5.5 years.
And last year you turned around over $1 million, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Well, that's quite good, for someone who just started, who was this little girl that loved ponies, and that's quite a good I mean, quite a good success.
Yeah, no, like I never thought I'd get there, to be honest. And I actually said this recently on another podcast. My accountant, who I love dearly, she's an amazing accountant. When I first started speaking with her and engaging her, like to do our accounting, she kind of, I guess, in a way, underestimated Pink Pony. She was probably like, oh, this is it. She literally was like, oh, is that your business name? Like she actually said that. And I was like,
Okay.
yes. Which was kind of, I think, an accountant is probably not the most like daring out of the box kind of person. So I can understand where she was coming from. And then we sat down and did my year end review sort of somewhat recently. And she literally said to me, I honestly didn't think you were going to hit 7 figures. I didn't think that would happen for you, but here you are. So she was like, this is a big deal. Congrats. And I was like, oh, thank you. But I
Well,
was like, don't underestimate me.
that's good. Yeah. I mean, especially like you didn't have agency experience, you didn't have
No.
like leading the business, doing project management, doing things like
None of
that.
that.
So how did you have any help in the family? How did you get into it? Because when I started, I actually also never worked in an agency. I never
Crazy.
worked for someone else. I
Oh,
started as a freelancer with 22, like almost
wow.
17 years ago. And then I
Mm.
started agency. At one point, there was 15 of us.
Oh
And
my gosh.
like, so I totally understand what you went through,
Yeah.
like with no experience to accounting, to all the possible things, all the possible
Mm.
hats you can imagine. But how did you do it? Did you have some help in the family? How did it work for you?
Firstly, props to you because having a team of 15 is crazy. Like
It's
now with
crazy.
a
It was
that
crazy.
is like huge, like that's amazing. But in terms of how I did it, I definitely would like tribute a lot of my knowledge now and I guess my success to two people for sure. Like my dad, he's retired now and he was retired like back then as well, but he had done a lot of business things in his life. He was a very business savvy guy. He sort of knew what he was talking about with business. And then my husband as well, he is like runs a family owned business, a big structural steel company. They've got like 35 people and he basically sort of runs that as well. So he's got a lot of experience in business and dealing with employees and managing people and things like that. So having those two were the perfect guidance. I've never had another mentor or anything because I didn't really need it because I had those two people supporting me. If I had a problem with a client or how do I quote this or what should I do here, I'd just call them up and they would give me guidance. I still do it today for sure. They just give me like, here, this is what I think. At the end of the day, you can do what you like, but this is my preference or this is my personal perspective on it. And it is just so helpful to have those like backing boards, especially two people who know me the best in the world. It's great. And I couldn't have asked for like two better people to help me with it. Pink Pony wouldn't be where it is without them for sure. I remember actually when I was starting my 100-day design challenge, I was really like deflated with work only because I was not creatively challenged. I was working in the same colors and fonts for like 2 years. So I was really bored. I was like, oh, what do I do with my life? And I spoke to my husband about it and I said, I am thinking of starting this like 100-day design challenge. Like, it would be cool. I can share my work. And I think I said to him, maybe it could turn into something. And then he was like, yeah, like go for it. This is a great idea. And then down the track, when I got the lead, I said to him again, like, I think I want to start a business. But obviously it's scary because what if I can't contribute to rent and contribute to life
Yeah.
financially? And he said to me, don't worry, I've got you. Like, just literally don't even worry about money. And to have that kind of support is just the best because you can go into things more confidently. You're not worrying too much about like every dollar here and there. So I was so lucky. I wouldn't be here without my dad and my husband for sure.
I can totally relate on that one.
I love that.
Well, as on the husband part, because
Mm,
we were in this together from the beginning, and we moved together to Spain, and it was, the other day after I finished the episode with the four guests,
mm,
and I was like, I've always been an introvert, and that's for me. So speaking with anyone, I told them like, oh my god, guys, I have the pulse like 138 or something like that, and it's like seriously crazy for me. And then after that, I was so exhausted,
mm,
but I was so happy I did it. It was such a good thing. And I told him like, oh my god, I couldn't do this without you. Like, it would not be possible. Like,
yeah.
absolutely. So I can totally relate to you, and that's amazing when you have so people that are so close to you, that are actually like there for you in these moments. Like, even now, you just had a baby. Back then,
Mm,
starting a business during COVID, and so that's absolutely amazing that you have.
yeah. It's awesome, especially, well, if it helps. You wouldn't know that you're like an introvert and find those situations difficult if
Oh
that
my
helps.
God, you
You
have
deal
no
with them
idea. Like,
amazing.
I started the podcast. It was on mostly like Instagram lives last
Mm,
year, and I think, well, around this time. And I've never before that shown my face online, and I've run an
Oh,
Instagram
wow.
page for years and the business and everything. And no one knew what do I look like or what do I sound like or whatever. And it was so scary for me because English is not my native language. And you cannot, you have to be able to speak at least a bit fluently. And starting that first Instagram live for me was so, so scary. And every time after I did it, I was so exhausted again. I would just lay down and my head would hurt a bit. But with time,
You
it
get
gets
more
easier.
confident.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
gets way easier. So here we are with the
Cool.
second season. You are the
I
first
love
solo
it.
guest, and that's
Yes.
one of the amazing things.
I
Yeah,
love
I was
that.
like going over the summer, like who I'm going to invite, who is good. I had James Martin last year. I had Liz Mosley and so
Love
many
her.
great people. William Patterson as well. I'm forgetting a lot of them, but amazing creatives. And then for this year, I wanted to know like who will be interesting, who has a good story. It's not about just everyone can show up online and talk, give tutorials and everything, but you made so much. And that was like, I was talking to my husband earlier today because like she did it in 5 years. She's speaking fourth time on Adobe MAX, which is like, like you get 5 Oscars 5 years in a row, for
I
graphic
love that.
designers, it's so
Yeah.
big thing. And it was really amazing when you said yes, let's do it, and like, oh my gosh, she had a baby. It will be in a year or two, like we are able to get together, but it's so good.
Oh, and I appreciate it. No, of course. Like I listened to like the episode you did with Will and Liz as well. Love them. They're awesome.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's jump on that question. With Liz, I asked her if her brand was a perfume, what would it smell like? If Pink Pony was a perfume, what would Pink Pony smell like?
It would definitely be like sweet, but it wouldn't be as sweet as you might think it is. Like I think it would have a punch of like sexiness in there.
Okay.
I don't know how else to describe it. It would definitely I reckon it wouldn't be like strawberry though, because I think that's too obvious. Too obvious. Like it's almost like if the brand was an animal, what would it be? And obviously my go-to would be horse, but
obviously
I actually don't think it's a horse. I think it's more like I think it's more like a fox or something, like something that's daring but is cheeky as well.
Okay.
I wouldn't say horses are that cheeky.
Nah,
So,
not okay. Not as a fox, at least. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are always good questions though. I'm like, well, I like when they're a little bit not that obvious. Although my branding couldn't be more obvious. It's pink and there is a pony.
Yeah, Pink Pony, yeah. I mean, but it's different, when people know when you post something online, they know it's you. They know it's your brand. Even when you design for other people, even when they go to see your work on the Pink Pony creative page, it's you. I mean, it's the brand, you cannot make a mistake. Oh, this was done by, I don't know, James Martin, because his style is completely different. So it's recognizable, and I like that. But when we are on the Pink Pony, I love the huge one in the office.
I know. Same.
That's absolutely amazing.
My prized possession.
Yeah, but why Pedro?
Oh, well, when I got this big horse who was black, and then we painted him, we got him professionally painted by literally a car painter. I went to this like car, or like, I don't even know what we call them, someone who paints cars. And I was like,
no
hey,
idea.
look, and I was like, like, I know you usually paint cars, but could you paint a giant horse? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. And then I posted it on Facebook and on Instagram, and I was like, he needs a name, of course. Like, what are your suggestions? Just to everyone, throw it out there. And there was definitely some top ones. Like Pedro came up a lot. Like a lot of people just said Pedro. Prince was another one, which I still really like. I still love Prince. One. Yeah, and it had to be P, like, P the pink pony, Prince the pink pony, or Pedro the pink pony. And then I did a poll and Pedro won. So I was like, you know what? It's Pedro.
Okay, amazing.
We'll go for it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Great Spanish name, so there's a connection.
I know.
Yeah. Absolutely
great.
Love it. Yeah. Do you miss design?
Yes, I do. I like that question. And, in the last like 2 years since having the team and even obviously having my baby, I very much have not designed as much as I would have hoped. And like, I even just recently in the past like 2 months, I've done my first branding project through and through that I've done in probably 2 years.
Oh,
And it
wow.
was so good to do. Like, I was just like, this feels, and the project was a dream project, which is why I really wanted to do it. And the style that they went with couldn't be more my style. Like, I was like, this is everything I could have ever wanted in a project. And here we are doing it. So and we've just we're finishing it up somewhat, and I can't wait for it to go live. It's probably going to be a while because it's going to take a while to like really launch it.
Okay.
But yeah, I really miss design because to be like, I didn't get into business to manage people or to create project manage, create systems. I got into it because I love design and I love designing for people. So, my sister works for us as a accounts and project manager. And especially since having my son, she really leveled up. She pretty much became the, director, the manager of the business. She manages the team. She does so much. And we recently had a discussion and she said, I know you're probably going to come back into business, like into work more full time next year. Are you wanting to take off some of the work that I'm doing? And I was like, no, like I
No.
want you to keep going, do all of it. And she wants to as well. She wants to become the managing director of Pink Pony. And I was like, this is great because then I can focus on what
That's
I love. I
amazing.
can design. Yeah. And that's what I want to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, I remember when I had an agency, one of the worst thing was like not doing design, and that's one of the reasons I actually decided to go freelance again and be just me and
Mm,
do my own work, because at some point I was replying, I think I already said this before, like 200 emails a day, and you are
no.
just like, I cannot do this anymore. It's
Yeah.
absolutely, you are drained, and it's
Mm,
not leading you where you want to be. You became a designer because you want to design things, not to like type emails all day
yeah,
long. And it
I
was
know.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, I can totally relate to that. So that's why I was like asking, because I know when people go from freelance to a design
Mm,
agency, they mostly end up doing like project management, emails and everything. So yeah,
yeah.
I
And
know
like,
how can it feel.
yeah, and she does a better job at all that stuff with me. It was scary letting it go, to be honest, because I thought people would only be wanting to see the face of or hear from the face of the brand all the time. And now I've realized they really don't, as long as it's like the Pink Pony standard, that's all that matters. And, she is now becoming, not probably to the public, like she's becoming, a really big part of Pink Pony just because she is that person between all the clients and the designers. Um, um, yeah, it's awesome having it in the business. I couldn't, like, again, it's letting go of my ego to know that someone else can do it better. Because at the end of, to be honest, she does a much better job. She's way quicker at responding to people in emails than I ever was.
Even
Like,
better.
yeah, all those little things she's much better at. She's even better at like holding our price more. I'm too much of a people pleaser and I just want to do cool work. So I'm like, oh, let's just give them, they have a budget of this. Let's just lower the price. But she's like, no, like keep it where it's at. She's not as emotionally invested. She is getting there because she cares more about it now. But I'm so emotionally invested in all this that I'm like, oh, like give them what they want. But she
Yeah.
holds her ground, which is a good thing.
Absolutely good thing. Yeah. I mean, one of my questions, what I wanted to ask was like, how do you say no to clients? Do you
Oh,
actually, well, as a company, do you reject certain clients? Like if they are
we
not a good
do.
fit?
Yeah, we do. I find it so hard. I still find it hard because again, I'm a people pleaser. I want to please everyone. I look at like everything almost like an opportunity, which can be a bad thing. Like, but I've really, in the past year, even we've had a few situations where we had a gut feel that this wasn't going to be a good project. Even Livy, our accounts manager, also was like, "Oh, I just don't know." But we've just been like, "Let's just see how it goes." This is a good measurement for like if the gut feel is right. And every time the gut feel has been right. Now she's learning the Pink Pony gut feel basically. And
Yeah.
she also knows. So it's awesome now. She'll say, I don't think we should do this, but what do you think? And then having her support like that is awesome. Now she's thinking bigger picture. what's best for the business. And yeah, it's hard to say no though. But I also think like that's kind of what allowed me to grow at first, saying yes to almost everyone. And I also think the hardest clients are where you learn the most, that's for
Absolutely.
sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the ones that go
That's the truth.
swimmingly, that are easy, you don't, which are fantastic. You definitely need those, but you're not going to learn a lot from them.
That's true. No, for me it was amazing. Like I had so many clients in those like 8-9 years that I had run the
It's
agency
crazy.
and did design. But I mean, it's a funny thing that the easiest people to work with were from New Zealand and Australia. And I'm not
Oh,
saying
really?
this because you are from New Zealand, but it was so easy to work with them. Like, I don't know, like,
Mm.
is it something in the water or people are just, I've never been there personally in either of those countries, but it was always so easy to work with them. And that was, when we receive an email, like, and you see it's Australia, perfect. When you see New
Oh my
Zealand,
gosh, funny.
amazing. Like, and honestly, like, it was such a different experience because from all the other countries you had like this and bad clients and
Mm,
good ones, but
mm.
never from those two countries. So
Oh
that
my
was,
gosh,
yeah,
that's
you
really
guys are just
interesting.
amazing, I guess.
Oh, hey, what can I
Yeah.
say? I feel like it's funny because I would almost say like Americans are like that for us. I find the
Really?
American market, yeah,
Okay.
which most of our clients are Americans, which for some reason I do find that they understand the value of design a lot more. And I don't know if it's because they're obviously way bigger. So there's just everything's on a bigger scale. They've got
Might
more
be.
money, more clients, more everything. And so they're just open. They don't have the time, I guess, to like think about all the small little details. And they just trust that we're going to do the right thing. But I do find in New Zealand, the clients are a little bit more, it's more small business owners that we're working with rather than like
Okay.
big companies. But I love that you have that experience. I'm like,
All
New
right.
Zealanders are great and very relaxed and
Yeah,
easy
yeah.
going. So that could be it.
Absolutely. It was like totally different experience, and in the first few years we had clients from Europe and from
Oh,
US and
cool.
Latin America as well. And then we started slowly getting from Australia and New Zealand. And it was
Mm,
such a different experience for me. It was so easy. Like you do what you think is best, they accept it, and you just ship the results and that's it.
I love that.
It was a beautiful experience.
How did you
Yeah.
get how did you get the clients from New Zealand and Australia?
Through the website,
So,
and well, at that time, there were no Instagram as far as
mm,
Instagram was not that big. That
yeah.
was like 2011, 12.
Mm.
Facebook was,
Oh,
I
wow.
think, yeah, Facebook was
Cool.
booming back then. We had
Yeah.
a Facebook page of around, I think, 35,000 people at that moment, which was,
Shit, that's massive back then.
yeah,
It's huge.
that was good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it was, I mean, you obviously invest in marketing and everything so people hear about you. And
Mm.
then after that, it was a lot of people like talk to other people and
Yeah,
word of mouth.
referrals and
It's, yeah, absolutely like the best thing you can actually do for your business to have
mm.
more clients is like recommendations and testimonials, which was a huge thing for us. So yeah,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think
cool. I love
that's,
that.
yeah, it was a kind of a different time back then. We didn't have all these video platforms, and
Mm.
I don't even remember if you were able to upload video on Facebook at that time.
I
So
don't think
yeah,
you would
but
have. Yeah. Like
yeah,
even
it was early days.
Instagram, I remember Instagram quite clearly back in like 2011 because I'd just finished school the year before and it was like a big new platform, but it was so basic that like
Yeah,
you,
absolutely. Like
you
basic
wouldn't be going
filters and
viral.
nothing else.
Yeah, like it would be almost impossible to go viral. Yeah, and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you don't have videos or anything, and you'd just be sharing the most random shit as well.
Well,
Like
that's
here's
so
a
true.
photo
Like,
of the TV of what I'm watching today,
yeah, yeah.
really random
Well,
things.
kind of. That's so true. Well, I have a couple of more questions. I know you
Oh.
have a sleeping baby over there, but I will not keep you too long. I usually start with a kind of an icebreaker, but it was so
Ooh.
natural today. So thank you for that, first of all.
Oh,
I didn't
anytime.
have to go there, but one of my questions that was quite interesting last time that when I recorded the session, the roundtable that's going live in 2 days. One thing that not a lot of people know about you from your personal life, if possible.
Oh, okay. I'm going to say this because we shared a post about this on our Pink Pony agency page. It was like meet the team kind of like, and it was 2 truths and 1 lie. And so we just shared that. And I don't know if people ever like obviously sort of read it and got it, but I think I shared, oh God, what did I share? I shared that I've danced in a music video, that I have
Amazing.
skydived 5 times, and I broke my arm at a music festival. What do you think? I'm asking you. What do you think is the lie? So it was dance in a music video, skydive 5 times, or broke my arm at a music festival. What do you think
I
would
would
be
say
the
broke
lie?
your arm.
Oh,
No?
well, no. It's actually pretty much all of it's true, except the skydiving 5 times. I've only done it 3 times.
Oh, okay.
So that's the lie. But I did break my arm. Well, I dislocated my elbow actually at a music festival in New Zealand.
Okay.
I was quite intoxicated, but I just slipped down a hill.
Oh,
And I was,
just
funny enough, I was wearing cowboy boots, so they were very slippery.
okay. Forgiven. And a music
Yeah.
video?
Yes, I was actually a dancer. Like I did like contemporary jazz, hip hop for so long, and that was actually what I wanted to do with my life. I was like, I want to be a dancer. I want to dance on
Oh,
stage with
amazing.
celebrities, and like I was pretty good, but I did like audition for a lot and did some cool things, but I never there was people who were just elite, and it was like that was like the next level, and I was like, I just don't know if this is for me. And I was a good designer, so I was like, well, I'm gonna make more money designing probably, so let's do that. But yeah, I danced in like quite a cool. It was actually like a Bollywood. What's the like an Indian style
Yeah, Bollywood.
music video?
I
I'm
think
not gonna.
so.
Yeah, I'm not
Oh,
gonna send the link to anyone because I don't want to do
no?
that.
No?
Yeah. Well, I'm just like I'm not like yeah. Oh God. Now I'm digging myself a hole.
Come on.
I'm
This
like
is what it's all about.
I'm in like dancing clothing. So I'm not in clothing that I want everyone to see me in. Oh no, now
Oh,
it's
well.
gonna sound really bad. It's like it's hip hop, but it's like yeah, I wasn't wearing like a whole lot. So
Okay.
it sounds really bad. It's very
Well,
like
it would
urban
be easier if you
street.
would share a link,
I
At least
know,
it
but I'm
would be.
not going to. Someone can deep dive into that and see if they can find it. I doubt
Okay,
in a
that's a
million years you would
challenge.
find it.
Thank you.
That's
It's a challenge.
I am wearing clothes, so let's just preface with that.
Okay.
I'm very much covered
we'll
up,
stick
but
to
it's
the
just
clothes, yeah.
less than jeans and a top.
Okay. Okay, no, amazing. Well, I love that. It's the thing why I actually talk to people, and because it amazes me that we are not all serious these business people who post online
No.
things and like for the profit. We are also like people, human beings, and I love that, and I love the stories from you, and I love the stories from both James's and from all of my guests. That was really, really amazing, and thank you for that. This was kind of a perfect ending, even if I had like great perfect question to end the conversation, let's leave it. I love this.
Oh, sounds good. No, thanks so much for having me on, Alan. It was lovely, lovely chat. You definitely don't
Absolutely.
come across as introverted, so yeah, you do an awesome job.
Thank
Loved
you.
talking
Thank
to
you so much. And I'm wearing pink. This is a pink t-shirt, by the way. It just
Yes.
too much light all over. So
I normally wear pink, or I'm normally in my pink office, but today we
Yeah.
simply have a pink drink, and this was
At
actually
least
designed by
something.
my agency.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's amazing. Well, thank you, Kristy. And it was really a pleasure having you. And hope to talk to you soon again, I guess.
Sounds good, Alan. We'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Thank you. And have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Real stories with bold creatives. Captain OffScript Podcast.